Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi and you know what time it is, and we're gonna get our midweek magic on. This week's midweek magic is constructed using only cards from Lost Caverns of Ixalan, the brand new set recently released on Arena. We are going to follow the plan and attempt to complete this event without opening any packs or having done any drafts, which means we're going to have very limited resources, but we can do this. But before we get into all that, allow me to do the awkward thing and promote the channel. A while back, one of my viewers was kind enough to point out that we are the only channel putting out timely midweek magic content. So be sure to subscribe right here at the Planeswalker Stronghold for all of your future midweek magic needs, because we will be bringing you a deck list or strategy every single week. So what do you say we put all this aside and just get to that? All right, so to start things off, of course, a standard deck is going to take 35, 36, maybe 37 non-land cards to really get going. And each of your jump-ins is going to give you 11 non-land cards. And our plan is to do 7 different jump-in events with the goal of walking away with 3 to 4 of the new set packs. So that leaves us 2 questions. Really, how viable is that? Can we expect to get 3 or 4 packs out of the newer packs with only doing 7 events? And how do we deal with the remaining few missing cards that we may not have from those jump-ins? Okay, so the math on this isn't exactly perfect. The statistics of the pack selections is actually a little bit more complicated than this. But if we figure there's 11 Lost Caverns of Ixalan packs available, and there's a total of 71 packs, we're going to do 7 events, and we're going to be shown 6 packs per event. Just off the cuff, we should be able to expect roughly 6.5 Lost Caverns packs to end up in our collection. When you factor in things like being guaranteed to see 1 pack that you haven't previously selected, these odds and statistics actually go up a little bit more. So if you end up with 3 or 4 more packs than you really needed, you've potentially already solved your problem by just picking one of the on-color packs and adding a few cards in. You're pretty easily going to get there. So with this in mind, one of the easiest ways to build an adequate deck for this event would be to select one of the 2 enemy color pair decks and add the pack of each of the corresponding colors. I've taken the liberty of compiling my own evaluation scores here for such decks, and the red-white one comes out on top. Next up is an interesting case, the Caves deck. But in order to make this one work, you would really have to get the Spelunking pack 3 times on this, because that particular pack does not play well with the others with relation to this event. But of course, these aren't necessarily the only decks that you can play. And what would you do if you didn't end up with a statistical norm on this? And well, it turns out Lost Caverns of Ixalan is here to help you out with a higher number of reprints than one might expect. Of course, a Braid is one of the best commons in the format, and if you were around last year, you almost certainly have 4 copies of that hanging around. If you've been around a little longer than that, Rumbling Rockslide, Chart a Course, Dead Weight, Sorcerer's Spyglass, and Thrashing Brotendon are all lower rarity reprints, although Sorcerer's Spyglass was previously printed at rare. At higher rarities, you've got Gishath, Growing Rights, Treasure Map, and Resplendent Angel, all of which might be hiding in your collection and available to help you out in this event. And even if none of that comes together for you, there are still some very viable options to fill out those last 3 cards. that would be crafting a common or uncommon that is going to be a much lower value than the rares you would get from this event. For instance, something like Careening Minecart is a pretty viable creature, might allow you to splash a third color through the use of treasure tokens. It is just a vehicle, so you would have to crew with one, but putting a 1 power creature on the board is not going to be hard, so that's certainly an option. Also, Scampering Surveyor is another thing you might want to consider. Another uncommon, 4 mana, 3/2, so it has a pretty decent body. Also does an interesting sad robot impression, allowing you to search your library for a basic land card or cave card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. And we all know we're probably going to have some caves going on in here. When it comes to fixing, I think some of the best fixing within the limited format, and thus the only constructed format, is Captivating Caves, allowing you to repeatedly convert mana over to whatever color you need. And a late game, or if it just isn't adding the primary utility, it allows you to sack it and put counters on a creature to help you close out the game. That, of course, is just a common. And another cave to consider is Volatile Fault. This is a colorless mana source, but it also allows you to destroy a non-basic land your opponent controls. That player searches their library for a basic land. So we know a lot of people are going to be playing constructed full-on decks that they've had time to test and things like that. And we're at a little bit of a disadvantage because we're basically playing 60 card limited. This allows you to potentially narrow that gap a little bit by chipping away at what might be a fragile constructed mana base. And of course, for certain decks, bringing a treasure into play under your control may have other benefits too. And of course, depending upon what 2-color combination you end up with for this event, you might wish to consider crafting a single copy of the Gold Signpost Uncommon for that deck. Some are a little better than others, but most of them are pretty good and would add a lot of mileage to an event like this. As they're legendary creatures, it's not the best craft in the world because more than likely you're going to end up with at least 1 copy on this. But in particular, things like Bartolome, Captain Storm, or Firstborn of Gishath. I'm not even going to attempt that first name. Or even the Nikanzel, Current Conductor. All of these are cards that if you end up playing that deck, you're going to want 3 or 4 copies, so not necessarily doing long-term damage to the viability of your collection. And if you're particularly hard-pressed, adding one of the off-color hidden cave lands might not be the worst idea. And if things are really desperate, a couple extra basic land cards will get you to where you need to be as far as presenting a playable 60-card deck. I believe one of the strongest decks that you could build for this event using this jump-in only methodology would be combining 2 of the mono red Dinosaur decks and the mono green also Dinosaur themed deck. Obviously that gives you a very strong dino energy going on and gets you almost a complete deck by tossing in a single copy of a Braid from one of the Innistrad sets, crafting a copy of Firstborn, and crafting a copy of Scampering Surveyor if you didn't already have that. We'd finish out a 60-card deck. We'd be running 24 lands, including 3 hidden caves, but no other cave synergies going on, nothing else. And honestly, this is a pretty strong, limited to constructed deck, and would not be a bad starting place for a Gruul Dino Stompy deck, and might very well be where we start on that. But as I said, there's a lot of different combinations out there, a lot of different decks that you can build. Each individual pack has some variability in there as well. So take a look at your collection, see what's available, and see what you've got to give you a strong showing in this event. And if you want to see exactly how I deal with this event live, I'm going to be doing it over on Twitch on all 3 of my accounts. So you'll be able to see every deck building decision, every craft decision right there live. And I'll be doing that on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. and then again on Wednesday and 11 a.m. and Thursday at 11 a.m. all on different accounts, all different card pools. And of course, those will remain available for you as replays over on my Twitch account. Because the Stronghold is so much more than just a YouTube channel, and you can find links to all of our other social media outlets in our profile. Because at the end of the day, we're all budget players. And as a community, we're stronger together. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those things to show a little love. It's appreciated more than you know.